Hi everyone, this is Henry Davis, and this is my challenge for Lesson 4 on adjustments. So the theme for this week was my favorite museum, and let me get this out of the way. And my favorite museum is the Cleveland Museum of Art. I'm from Cleveland, and the art museum is probably the best one up there. There are a bunch of really amazing museums up there, but the art museum is my favorite, so I'm just going to pull this so it fits the whole screen. And I will put the source for this image. This is not my picture. I'll put the source for this image in the comments. But let's get started. So this assignment is based upon altering adjustments for the photos. So I'm going to do something similar to the assignment we did the prior week for this. So I'm going to go into Image Adjustments, and I'm just going to toy around with a few different features that we have here. So say I want to adjust the levels of the photo, which we saw in a previous week's assignments. We used adjustments to really darken and brighten the pixels that we were using. So let's say I just want to do that. That looks good, in my opinion. This is the atrium for the art museum, by the way. I know you don't see much art, so you might think this is a little bit weird. But so let's say that's just how I want that aspect of it to be. Oh, actually, before I even do that, let me undo, and I am going to delete that background layer and duplicate this so we can see the changes that we're making. Sure. So let's go back to levels and just pull this in a little bit, tug that in as well. There. Alright, so that's all I want to do with levels. But another way you could alter that would be going into the curves. And this is a little bit more advanced, but really what you want to get from this is not that. You want to get an S-curve, really. So let's say we want this to be underneath. If we want less brightness, we would go with a curve like that, but I don't think that's quite what we want. I think we want something like that. And now it's getting a little bit grainy. So I'm going to pull that down, that up a little bit. And that looks pretty good in my opinion. So it really highlights all the shadows. It highlights the bright parts of the grass over here. And you can see everything pretty clearly. So I'm just going to hit OK for that. And if we wanted to see what I've done so far, let's hide this. See, it's kind of gray and muggy. Now we've highlighted or accented all of the dark spots, the shadows, and the bright spots of this image. So next feature I'm going to look into is brightness and contrast, which it's pretty self-explanatory. If you want it darker, you go dark. If you want it brighter, you go bright. And the contrast can be really helpful with images. This one not so much because we've used levels to kind of take care of that already. But like the example video where he had the flower, contrast would really make those water droplets pop on the flower. So I'm not going to apply any of those just because we've already taken care of it with the curves and the levels. Another thing that we could use to just see the shadows for this would be to change the blending mode to luminosity, and this will just show the aspects of the photo that you blended in to look brighter or darker. It will show the highlights for each of the photos, I should say. So we're just going to change that back to normal, leave all of this as is. Hue and saturation, I think I'm going to actually alter for this. So let's say we want the greens to be a little bit more green. We can change the saturation here to be a lot higher. See how the grass there is changing color? And if you really want to get crazy with this, you can change it to 100, but it doesn't look too great. So I'm just going to go plus 7. Looks good. Can I get one more on that? Yeah, there. So plus 7 on saturation. Hue, I'm not going to change it too much. Actually, we could go a little bit darker. That looks nice. Minus 14. Now it looks like kind of like it's fall in the atrium. So, and then lightness. Again, it's similar to the brightness feature, but it really darkens and really lightens the photo. It takes all of the color or adds all of the color to it. So we're just going to leave it as is for that. Or we're going to add the hue and saturation, but we're not going to change the lightness. So just to check in, this is how it was, and this is how it is now. So we've changed it quite a bit from the original image format. So I think I'm done with this first image. I'm going to actually create a new one and just use the defaults and do a little bit of a different thing with my second one. So I'm going to pull that image in again and just expand it so it almost fits. Okay, so I want to make this one black and white. So I'm going to adjust the layers, or pardon me. I'm going to go into black and white, and I'm okay with this. It is totally black and white, and if I wanted to alter anything in here, I could, but I don't really want to, so I'm just going to hit OK. And now I want to go into levels and really get all of the shadows that I had in for my previous one and just highlight everything I wanted from the previous one. You could do this before as well. You don't necessarily have to after you did black and white, but I thought I could really accentuate the shadows if I went into black and white first. So that looks pretty good in my opinion. So that's my black and white image. And as you can see, very different from this other one where I've changed the hue and saturation. This one's just black and white, and that's all I want from this. Going back to this one, if I wanted to, I could change a filter on this. I don't think I do. I think I just want to leave it as is, but just to show you all that it is an option, we could add a warming filter. And as you can see, it warms the stone up, it warms the whole area up. It actually looks pretty nice. So I think I'm actually going to leave that on there. So as you can see, I've added all 4 of these things, and we've gone through a few more. And then for this one, I just changed the levels and added black and white. So stark contrast between both of these, and then as you can see, very stark contrast from the beginning image. And then finally, I'm going to go into shadows and highlights on the black and white image. So if I want to increase the shadows or decrease the shadows, rather, if I want to increase the shadows, it'll take away the darkness and just kind of drown it out, per se, as you can see. It grays it out. And then if I want to do highlights, that kind of darkens the image. So normal highlights, it's all bright, and then with this, darkening it, coming along, I guess this isn't the best image to show it on. Let me go to the other one and show shadows and highlights. So 35% shadows takes away all of the darkness that we just put in there and kind of blanches it out. And then highlights, as you can see, changes the image drastically. So I'm going to remove a little bit of what I did in levels and just put 10% shadows in there. And that will be it, I believe, for this. Now, I'm going to create... Whoops, I don't know what I did. Didn't mean to do that. I'm going to create a new one again. Enough. So we're going to make this 6,000 by 4,000. No, by 1,500 is fine, because that's tall enough. And we are going to drag this image in here. We're going to drag the black and white image. And finally, we are going to drag the regular old background image to even all this out. And now you can clearly see, if I zoom in over here, whoops, there are stark differences between the three images. This is the edited image, this is the black and white image, and this finally is the regular image. So that's all I have. That is my tutorial for Challenge 4, and I hope you all got as much out of this lesson as I did. So thank you.